Hello, my name is Mike Samar. I am host of the Mind Wellness Guru podcast and owner of Mind Wellness Counseling in Royal Oak, Michigan. Welcome to our podcast. If you have been with me recently, we have started into a series on how to deal with the stress related to the COVID-19 pandemic. This pandemic is unprecedented and hit us with a collective state of shock. So we've been trying to navigate through this, this new normal. And we've been trying to do the best we can, but it has flipped our routines on their heads. And we have been trying to sort of deal with this on the best terms that we can. And so what I've been talking about in our recent series here is, how do we cope with this? How do we stay connected with people? Because I think, we've been doing what they've asked us to do with this stay-at-home order, which is to, essentially self-quarantine. And so it's given us a sense of isolation. And, how do we stay connected with people? We've talked about a variety of different ways to do that through social media platforms and, different ways you can get creative in an effort to stay connected with your family and your friends. And I'm very excited today because we are starting into a new journey here. This is our first video cast, so we're really stoked about that. And, with this wellness journey that we take you on, we've wanted to start into doing some interactive interviews. So today is our first interview, so we are very excited about that. And today we have with us TJ from TNT Plant Services. Welcome, TJ. Glad to have you. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Happy to be here, Mike.
Yeah. So today we are going to talk to TJ about, different ways that you can prepare yourself as you reintegrate out into society. And we're going to talk about some practical tips as well on ways that you can properly clean your home and your business. And so we will get down to some specific tips that will be helpful for you and for your family and that you can pass on to your friends as well. But first, TJ, I just want to ask you a little bit about your background. So you are a native Detroiter, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Born and raised. Went to school in Wayne State, operate a couple of different small businesses within Detroit.
Yeah, that's great. And tell us a little bit more about your business. Tell us what you guys do.
All right. TNT Plant Services is a food safety compliance company. And what that means is our employees, along with myself, are having a skill set where we can go into a food production facility, and we're a special type of auditor. So we point out non-compliance issues and safety concerns, and then we supply the corrective actions and solutions to eliminate those threats.
Very cool. Very cool. And a very important service that you provide. Now, tell us how you got into this line of work.
All right. So through a different business that we had, we've come across a handful of clients that we visit often. And when visiting there, we noticed that there is an absolute need for the practical service that we were trying to design.
Yeah.
So if we go back to 2007, we introduced that service. And ever since, we have just continually make efforts to better our practice, sharpen our pencils, better tooling, better products. And we just continual effort on improving the food safety conditions for our clients.
Yeah.
And it's been really nice. It's a really dynamic skill set.
Yeah.
And it's continually changing, keeps it very interesting.
Very cool. And then tell us how you then parlay that into working within, this COVID-19 pandemic, because clearly there is a huge need for this type of service. So how did you then go from food safety now to where you're at now?
Okay, so we have TNT Plant Services, and that focuses basically upon food safety. Last year, we got a little bit of a head start on the COVID. So last year, we were expanding our service package, and we wanted to address flu season for small businesses and institutions that heavily get impacted year after year when the flu season comes around. So we started doing our homework. We took appointments. We met with consultants. We developed a skill set to where we could provide that service last year. Now we didn't fully complete it last year in time, so we planned on launching that service this year. Coincidentally, COVID struck, and we just happened to be sitting in a prime position to already have the tooling, already have the consulting for the chemicals we needed. Nice. We were one step ahead of everyone on that. So once our current clients asked us to do a disinfecting service to help them, we decided that it would be in the best interest of everyone around if we could just provide that to the public. Anyone who needs our help, give us a call. We can talk it through. We can do disinfecting for you. We can talk it through. Just make sure that Detroit stays as safe as we can get it. People stay in business.
Very cool. You guys really did your homework here. This sounds like it was a very comprehensive approach where you talked to people in the community to find out what their needs were. Now, what were some of your biggest aha moments as you talked to people?
Actually, just having a service that people could rely upon that wasn't just hearsay or a science experiment. When we offer the service, it was very important to us that we know exactly what we are capable of and what we can't do.
Sure.
So we want to eliminate that uncertainty from the small business owners or the big business owners, whoever's out there that needs our help. And I think that making a concrete answer, yes, we can do this, that was probably the best thing that we were able to do for the people that have called upon us.
Yeah, I think that is so important in helping business owners eliminate that sense of fear and uncertainty, because we are entering into a new realm here that people are unfamiliar with. And I think you guys fill an important void there. I know for us, you and I met through a mutual friend, Anjali, and she is our marketing director. She introduced the two of us and said, I know a gentleman named TJ with TNT Plant Services, and they offer a wonderful service, and you should connect with him, have him come out and do an assessment, and see how they can be helpful to you guys. So walk us through that process when you came out to our facility in downtown Royal Oak. That's Mind Wellness Counseling. Walk us through that process of what you did when you walked through the door.
All right. So doing a service for you is very similar to the services that we already offer as consultants in the food industry. So what we'll do is you go to the site and you just are doing a walkthrough and a very thorough assessment. Yeah. What we're going to do is look at the environment and try to analyze how the public is going to use your facility and the staff as well.
Sure.
So we have to go in there and investigate, and you're going to want to look at how rooms are set up. What is in the rooms? What are the surfaces? What materials are used? What does your furniture look like? As much detail as we possibly can get, so that when we make our recommendations to you, obviously we need to be confident that that's going to work. But we also want to give you the peace of mind that, we're doing our due justice our due diligence just to make sure that you're safe and you're getting what you're asking from us.
Absolutely. Yeah, you guys are the real deal here. And I think it's important to emphasize here too that businesses that are reopening here need to be responsible.
Yeah.
As the public comes back out to stores, whether it be a retail store, a counseling business, a restaurant, etc., is they have a certain public trust in businesses. So businesses really need to step up to the plate and be responsible. What we've done is we've tried to pull all the stops in terms of trying to make sure people are safe. And so that includes following the CDC guidelines of wearing masks, maintaining our 6 feet of social distancing, offering hand sanitizer, and those sorts of things. But what you guys offer here is really a peace of mind, and just knowing that a business has been properly, and you and I kind of talked about this, but properly disinfected. And so I want to touch on that for a moment because there is a difference between disinfecting and sanitizing. And so just tell us, what is the difference between the two?
Yeah, so to understand the distinction between sanitizing practices and disinfecting, we'll take one step back and we'll just look at the definitions of those by the trade. I think that there is a little bit of gray area out there on what everybody's reading, packaging, labeling. There's a lot of uncertainty even when it comes to the definition and the products out there. So if we would start, the first level of any of that is going to just be cleaning. And so you can, in order to do a disinfecting or sanitizing effectively, the surfaces need to be cleaned. And when we're doing cleaning, you're just basically removing soils and organic matter.
Okay.
And once you get there, then you can start incorporating the sanitizing practices.
Mhm.
Now, sanitizers are going to be what you can get at, big box store, hardware stores. It's your Lysols, all these products that are readily available to the public. And they do a really good job at reducing bacteria and viruses.
Sure.
They're also usually, fragrance, it's nice to smell. It's the nice household product.
Sure.
But it is absolutely not the same as a disinfectant.
Okay.
So now to understand the disinfectants, the disinfectant is going to be a more professional strength product, and there is dilution required. There is a little bit of safety concerns to be considered, and you absolutely should make sure you're doing a really thorough job at understanding your products. Now, disinfectant, unlike a sanitizer, is going to eliminate bacteria and viruses.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's a different level of responsibility involved in using that product. And so let me just go right and say, how do you know the difference? You're looking for products designated by the CDC. And the CDC has a specific list of disinfectants that will eliminate the COVID virus.
Oh, okay.
And there is a bunch and they continually evolve. Cross-reference that list. Don't just take for granted that you're looking at a label and it says, 99.9% effective against viruses. That in no way is going to guarantee that it can combat against COVID-19.
Okay.
Like I said, there's a very specific list. And so there's a responsibility there. If you're the person responsible for disinfecting, make sure that you do your due diligence, you read through, and you make sure you got the right thing.
Okay. So people at home, the important takeaway here is any of these products that you buy to clean your home, whether you're Home Depot or somewhere else, make sure that you cross-reference the label with the CDC website. to make sure that it's an approved product.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that sounds like an important piece of information. And now, real quick, now the products you guys use, you guys were very careful in your selection process with those. Is that correct?
Oh, yes, sir. So, like I had mentioned earlier, it was very important to us not to just be able to provide a service, but to really understand what we were trying to do, what was the goal, and select and offer the very best product, not just the product that would work. What is the absolute best manufacturer and provider of such chemicals that we can trust? We do believe Ecolabs to be the world leader, virus killing products and cleaning agents on the commercial level.
Nice.
They do a really great job.
Yeah, very cool. And why don't we talk about then, what folks can do at home? Because I know everybody thinks about this and they want to make sure that their houses are, cleaned properly. And so what are some tips that people can think about in terms of making sure that they are creating a safe environment for their families and loved ones?
Okay. Actually, a lot of people ask me this. So I'll go over exactly how we did it for our family and how I'm helping everyone that asks me to stay safe. So
Sure.
if we was to look at how can we keep the house safe, we have to take a step back and look at your individual behavior for all the members of your home. So when you do that, you're going to say, okay, well, we're going to leave for work or we're going to go to the grocery store and then we're going to come back. Now you haven't entered your home. And I think that that's where the concern needs to start right there. Before you even enter your door, you need to have a plan here. And so everybody should take a little time and develop a plan if you haven't already. So there would be, for us, what we decided is let's put ourselves in a position to where we don't want to cross-contaminate the home and bring the virus in. What do we do? So we have like a laundry basket in our garage.
Oh, okay.
So not everybody's circumstances are going to be the same, but a plan can be put in place at every single type of home. So we walk in, make sure that the hands are clean, take off as many articles as possible. We have like robes set up so that, you can just throw something on before you head to the shower. And so we practice good hygiene before you even touch your knobs. We have it set up out there. And so we're really trying to eliminate you just casually going into your house without taking any safety measures. And because just with a little bit of effort, you can eliminate so much risk. So then you come back, you do good hygiene, you strip down as much as possible, you come into the house, you're nice and clean. So now once we're in the house, what we've done is we've created just a small punch list of frequently touched objects. So on a daily basis, we're actually just running around making sure we're touching our knobs, even at the front door on the outside, in case people have come in. And it's a really quick process. Not every single detail, but all the knobs, all the switches, do as thorough as possible. It doesn't take long. And by doing that, you're really doing your best practices. Nice. And I think that basic formula can be used whether you live in an apartment, a trailer, a mansion, that wouldn't matter. Yeah. Just the basic concept.
Sure. So these are simple steps that you can take. They don't take a whole lot of time. And, it sounds like really pre-planning, having a plan ahead of time can be really effective. Like you talked about what you and your family do, having a laundry basket in your garage, just simple steps like that, think about it ahead of time, have a plan. It doesn't take a whole lot of time. These are simple steps that you can take to protect your family.
Yes, sir.
Any other tips that you want to offer to folks out there?
I think that it's also important to understand visitors. Now people are starting to visit one another a little bit more. So while maybe you are very familiar with what the other folks have been doing that are coming over, or maybe you're not. For us, we just assume that we don't know what anyone's going to be doing outside of our house. We don't know what their behavior is going to be like. So we assume that everybody is kind of a threat, and it's not supposed to be offensive. It's just to keep us safe. So we specifically allow our guests to come into a certain spot. We're able to practice social distancing, but still while being social.
Sure.
And I think that people should really take that into consideration. Just because we're now allowed to go around one another, there's still certain ways that you can do that to be responsible and keep your family safe.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because I have had interactions with people, whether it be in my own home or people coming out to my counseling practice for their appointments, where, we feel a little awkward, where, our normal social norms, where something as simple as a handshake, or how we typically greet one another, where you kind of find yourself feeling a little awkward because you just instinctively want to, shake somebody's hand. But, of course, we're trying to maintain our 6 feet of social distancing. So again, I guess that's part of that new normal. But as you just mentioned, you can still interact with people, do it in a responsible way, and still, be sociable and respectful of other people.
Yeah, it's definitely, it takes getting used to.
It does.
You don't want to appear to be rude, but you do have to take responsibility of at least of yourself.
Absolutely.
You don't want to, put anyone at risk because, you're not, demonstrating responsible behavior.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, the overarching idea here is that we're all safe, right? And nobody wants to get sick here. This is something that we want to take seriously, and we have to do it in a responsible manner. And at the same time, we're still wanting to be, kind and respectful of others, but we just need to do it in a responsible manner.
Yeah.
Those are great tips. And as people reintegrate back out into society, and they start going back to different establishments, something comes to mind for me. I think I mentioned this to you. I heard a woman on the radio yesterday who went out to a local watering hole in Detroit, and she had an absolute awful experience because this particular place was promoting social distancing, and they were promoting wearing masks. However, she said once she got inside, it was overcrowded. Nobody was really practicing social distancing. There were people coming up to her. There were a lot of people that weren't wearing masks and that kind of thing. So, what are some of the best practices that you might offer for people as they go back out into retail establishments?
So multiple people have asked me that also. And if I was to look at everything that I've put together and said to people, I think that the one thing that echoes over and over is you're not going to be able to control other people's behavior.
Yeah.
And don't even try. And so rather than, sticking it out and feeling uncomfortable the whole time, just get out of there. I think that we're dealing with hopefully we're dealing with a very small window of needing to, do these practices. But I think it's really important that people just are cognizant of what they're doing, the situations that they're putting yourself in. I think a lot of people have, a really strong desire to see people, to talk, to feel love and do all these things. But at the same time, some of those things are going to look a little different right now. And it's very important that you control your behavior in the environments you put yourself in. And whether a place is open or closed, letting people in, not, whatever they're doing, make sure that you feel comfortable. Know what your limits are, on that. And if you're uncomfortable, get out of there.
Yeah.
It's simple,
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more on that. I think that's so important. I think the lesson here is, what do we have control over? What do we not have control over? I tell people this all the time. We certainly don't have control over what other people do. We really have control over two things. That's what we do with our hands and our feet, or our actions, and how we react to a situation. So I think each person needs to be situationally aware of their surroundings. Pre-planning is always good, but if you don't feel comfortable, either don't go there or leave the situation, right? If you don't feel like it is safe. So really think about that, where you're going, think about your surroundings, pre-plan as necessary. But if need be, don't put yourself in a situation where you feel like you're compromising your own personal safety in some way. Yeah. So, TJ, if we were to kind of wrap this thing up and put a bow on it, what message would you leave people with in terms of safety?
I think it's gonna be just similar to like what we just said. Everybody is in a situation right now to where there's a lot of information out there. A lot of people have been home for a long time. We're on the internet. We're seeking information. We want answers. A lot of the information out there is contradictory. A lot of people, there's a lot of different opinions. Some people, are doing a really good job at staying away, don't think that it's important at all. So I think it's important to have a plan for you and your family. Make sure that you are doing your due diligence to keep your home safe and your surroundings, and just be cognizant of the environments that you're putting yourself in right now.
Yeah.
And another thing I think is really important, and I think everybody is really picking up on, is the importance of hygiene and good hygiene practices, especially for hand hygiene. I don't think ever before so many people have been, using the the hand sanitizers and
Sure.
washing, and I think that's great. That's going really well, and I hope if anything, the new norm is that we just stick with that, because that's just going to help the whole entire environment.
Sure. Yeah, those are great tips. And, the other thing you and I have talked about is just thinking about, how you can be useful to other people. There might be people out there that are in more vulnerable situations. So just thinking about ways that you might help, your neighbor, for example, maybe your elderly neighbor or your parents or grandparents. Are there others out there that you can reach out to, whether it be over the phone, by social media, or, stopping by their home to see if they need anything and if you could be useful to them? Would you concur with that?
Oh, absolutely. I think that is going to be, in a certain way, a silver lining here is it's going to really allow you to help one another.
Yeah.
Maybe the
Yeah.
situations didn't exist before, but right now is the perfect opportunity to step in and, do a nice deed for someone else, and it'll make you, it's rewarding on multiple levels.
Absolutely. And we acknowledge these are tough times. These are unprecedented times for a lot of people. And I am seeing more and more people come into my practice who have never been to a therapy practice before. People with just anxiety and stress and depression and trauma. So with just a whole host of different concerns. And, this thing is real and it's affecting people on a number of fronts. So we just need to acknowledge this is a difficult time for a lot of people, including, financially. A lot of people have lost their jobs and they're scraping to try to get by. And so, it's just tough times for a lot of people. But what we're trying to emphasize today is to, just practice good, safe, habits. Cultivate good, healthy habits for yourself and for your family, and try to look for ways that you can be useful to others. This is a difficult time. However, I think at the same time, as you mentioned, it's an opportunity for us all to come together on a unified front. And I think in the end, we'll all come through stronger as a result.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the last thing I wanted to talk to you about, and again, something we have talked about, which is just kind of service. So, this idea of giving back, I know it's something that we've talked about. It's important to me. It's important to you. Can you just talk about either yourself or your organization and ways that you're involved in the community on that service front?
Yep. So what we've been doing is I can just do free consulting for anyone who needs help. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, email me. At the end, I'll give you the phone number. You can just call. If there's any gray areas or any information that you're having a hard time figuring out, or you're just looking for some advice, if I can help you, I absolutely will. Within our communities, we have volunteered a lot of disinfecting services around town now, just to make sure that the people that need help are getting it, and that circle keeps expanding. So we feel good about that, putting people back into business, and we're trying our best to move forward and take care of one another.
That's fantastic. I love the work that you guys are doing. We do the same thing. We offer free consultations for anybody that has any questions about their mind, body wellness. That's kind of our specialty. So always feel free to get a hold of us if there's anything that we can do. We're always willing to give back to the community. And so I love that you guys do that as well. I think it's so important, again, as being responsible stewards in the community, is to give back as well. And so we're always willing to help somebody if they're less fortunate and they need help. Anything else you want to leave us with? Any lasting messages you want to leave folks with?
I think that it's just important that we all just understand that this is going to be a very short window of time in which that all these things are going to be concentrated. So if we can just bear down, make sure that we don't put our guard down towards the end here. We really just persevere and keep going. It's going to be a lot shorter of a process than longer. I think that's important that people understand. We can eliminate this a lot faster with people exercising, putting their plans in place.
Absolutely. Don't let your guard down.
Yeah.
Good message there. And if folks want to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
You can go to our website, tntplantservices.com. If you feel more comfortable just giving us a call, give us a call, 248-249-5112. It's actually going to be a cell phone, so you can talk to me direct. And you could also email us, service@tntplantservices.com. Again, any questions anyone has, you're interested in outsourcing a disinfecting service, we can provide it. If you just want help reviewing what you're doing, that's what I do. Just give me a call, reach out to me. I'm available.
Absolutely. Yeah, reach out to TJ. They do a wonderful job. They're very professional. And as he said, even if you have questions or concerns, he's the man to go to. So you guys heard it from a safety guru today. Thank you, TJ. I appreciate you taking your valuable time out today to share this important information with us. And thank you for offering such an important service to our community.
Oh, thank you so much, Mike. Glad I got the opportunity.
Yeah. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my free podcast, Mind Wellness Guru. Go ahead and do that now. You can catch us on Spotify, Podbean, Pod Addict, and Apple Podcasts. And of course, you need to reach out to me. You can always get me through my website. It has all my contact information in there. It's www.mindwellness.health. And of course, in our next podcast, we're going to continue talking about ways that you can prepare yourself for this new normal. And we're just going to talk about, this reintegration back into the community as we go out into the retail setting, just ways that you can deal with some of the frustrations that you might encounter. So that's what we're going to talk about in our next podcast. Otherwise, we're glad you were here, and I look forward to continuing with you on this wellness journey.